This is sorbitol, a polyhydric sugar alcohol. Sorbitol isn't really saving lives or changing the world, but you probably use it every day, even if you don't notice. It's in toothpaste, in medicine, it's used to make plastic, and most commonly, it's in sugar-free candy. Sorbitol doesn't really get much credit though. It only has minor uses in all of these products. So today, let's give sorbitol the credit that it really deserves. This is a story of one of the most mundane and overlooked molecules. In 1871, Jean-Baptiste Poussingot studied the berries of the rowan tree. He studied agriculture and nutrition along with chemistry and wanted to know what made the berry sweet. This is where the story of sorbitol began. In the plant, glucose is given 2 extra hydrogens through a process called hydrogenation. The hydrogens interrupt the double bonds making the aldehyde group of the glucose, converting it into an alcohol. With the reactive aldehyde group now gone, there's less unwanted chemical reactions, making energy transport through the plant more stable. This more stable molecule is called sorbitol. In its most pure form, sorbitol is a white, odorless powder at room temperature. It has a melting point of 371.15 to 373.15 Kelvin. It doesn't really have a boiling point since it breaks down before it starts boiling. Those added hydroxyl groups form strong hydrogen bonds with other sorbitol molecules, so much so that its internal covalent bonds break down before the hydrogen bonds let it vaporize. Sorbitol is highly soluble. 235 grams of sorbitol dissolves in 100 grams of water at room temperature. Since sorbitol is so chemically stable, it can withstand relatively high temperatures. It isn't flammable, does not oxidize very easily, and has a moderate heat of combustion at negative 2,800 kilojoules per mole. All of these unique chemical properties of sorbitol amongst standard sugars is what makes it so useful to us in everyday life. Since it's so stable, it can easily be transported and typically has a high shelf life. In medicine, it can increase shelf life and keep the medicine from drying out. Sorbitol's most common use, however, is in the food industry. Since sorbitol isn't as reactive as glucose, our bodies can't break it down as efficiently. Because of this, our bodies only get around half as much calories from sorbitol than standard sugars, only 2.6 calories per gram. Since it is only partially and not very easily absorbed, it causes lower spikes in blood sugar. This makes it very commonly used in sugar-free candies and hygienic products like toothpaste. It provides similar taste to standard sugars with fewer calories and less absorbed carbohydrates, making sweet flavors more accessible to those with diet restrictions. Sorbitol is an unsung hero in our everyday lives. It often goes unnoticed but still doing its job when we don't recognize it. Chances are we each use products containing sorbitol every day. Because of this, I think sorbitol should be given some kind of credit for its efforts. I nominate sorbitol for 2025's Molecule of the Year.